I mean, it's torture sometimes for software engineers, software developers to sort of explain exactly what they do to their moms most times. Because hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Adora. If this is your first time stopping by, please make sure you subscribe. I have something great for you at the end. That's a lie, I don't have anything great for you at the end, but I'll be excited if you do. This means a lot to me. Thank you so much for watching this video in the first place. So today we'll be doing like a sort of like a Q&A video. So yesterday I put out a tweet that if there are questions that anyone has that they would like me to answer, they should just, send them to my DM. And I got a few responses and I'll be answering some of these questions in this video. So stay tuned if there's some things you need to know or there's some things you want to know about imposter syndrome or time management or any other thing you feel like, or maybe even programming. Just stay tuned. Let's see how that goes. So I'm not going to be saying who the questions are from. I'm just going to be asking them and rather answering them. Be going straight into the questions. The first one, how do you handle work and living with family? Do you have an early curfew, errands? Well, how do I handle work and living with family? I mean, it's torture sometimes for software engineers, software developers to sort of explain exactly what they do to their moms most times because they don't get it. But I'm lucky. I mean, my parents are quite liberal, and I still live with my parents, by the way. My parents are quite liberal, and my siblings are supportive as well. And I'm just always saying it like, I have to do this, and I have to do this, and it's going to take this from me, and this and this and this and that. And because they know me, right, and then they see me, they see that I'm working, they see that I'm constantly trying to get things out, you sort of understand that, oh, this girl is not just trying to run away from errands. She has a goal. She knows exactly what she's trying to do. Let's give her space so that she can get there. They've been really supportive, but I think the most important thing is effective communication. I mean, you know what your discipline entails. You know whatever profession you're in. If you are not in software engineering or in tech, the entire umbrella as an example, you know what your profession entails. You need to communicate to the people you live with, whether it's a roommate, whether it's parents, siblings, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever it is. I think it's important that you communicate with people that you live with, right? Your flatmates, your housemates, because they're not gonna, especially when they're not in the same profession as you, they're not in the same discipline as you, they're not gonna understand what you're doing. And if you don't tell them, nobody's a spirit to actually jump into your head and know what you're talking about. For example, if you live maybe in one room and you have a roommate and you have to, maybe you're a developer, for example, you got your first job at a tech company on the island, so you had to move, so you and your friend had to get like a room together so that you guys can squat, and just sort out this first year and see how things get better before your life has started, but before things get better. You've moved in, right? You're living with this friend, and at night maybe you recently just got one remote gig that you're now doing, and it's in a country with a different time zone, and then you have to take Zoom calls at night. You get, and then you are talking, which is disturbing your roommate that's trying to sleep, or you're even coding and the lights from your PC, the light from your computer is disturbing your roommates, or just noise in general. Imagine if you're trying to build something, or you're into videos, or you're trying to render something, and then your fan is just making noise and your roommate is like, what is this? They won't understand what you're going through. So you need to communicate. Also, another thing is compromise. I mean, you're not always going to get what you want every single time. So it's important that you communicate with who you're living with. There's a level of compromise. Okay, this is what I think I can do to make you happy. This is what I feel you should do. Let's just try to do this in this way so that we can live together and we can live happily. And as for errands, like I said before, I guess I'm kind of lucky and my parents understand. So I mean, there's still chores you're gonna do in your house, still things you're gonna do, but at the same time, they don't try to be your this girl did this one and all of that, because they understand that I am working, I am at home, doesn't mean I'm not working. Days that I am working from home doesn't mean I'm days that I don't go to work on a work day, I am working from home. It doesn't mean that I am in my bed, just lounging. I am actually getting work done. And I mean, effective communication is the main thing. It would help them understand that. So the next question, which is actually from the same person, how has your career path been? And how did you begin and transition? This is a very long story. Tech for me started with my love for computers, to be honest, and this goes back all the way till I don't even remember how old I was. I think I was 6 or 7 years old. So when I was growing up, when I was a small girl, I was a busybody, right? I was everywhere, and what can we do to contain this girl's madness? What can we do to just keep this girl in check? They tried everything, got me games, no, got me this, no, watch TV, no, go and play with friends, I'll come back injured. So well, I was sort of like always around boys, so I had this tomboy bit to me as well. I don't know how that left my body, but when I was growing up, I was like that. Yeah. So my dad got a computer in the house. I don't think the computer was actually to contain my busybody. I just thought he felt his children should have access to computers to use, or so that they can be computer literate or whatever it was. But for me, it was just something that was really fascinating. Like, I always wanted to be in front of the computer. Every single time I come back from school, sometimes I'll get my homework done, sometimes I don't even get it done. I'm just going straight to it was a Windows 2000. It was old, like it was really old. And then what I used to do on it was, those movie screenplay things, I used to make them in PowerPoint. I used to make really ugly complimentary cards in Corel Draw. I used to paint a lot as well. I don't know what I was doing there, but it was fascinating to me, right? I just also loved playing games on the computer. I just always wanted to be in front of it. Every single time I felt like I was creating things. I felt like I was doing stuff like, oh, I can make a calculator in Visual Basic. That's amazing. Mommy, see what I did. And that just made me even want to code even more. So when I got into, it was time to choose a course at the end of secondary school, and I wanted to do like math and then take like professional exams and learn to code on the side and be coding in uni and just start my life from there. My brother's friend was like, I think you should study computer science since this is already what you already want to do. And I did, yes. And then since then, I've been coding, I've been learning, unlearning, relearning, trying to be better, trying to do things. And yeah, that has been it. And I'm currently still doing it. I mean, I'm still work in progress, but thank God for life. The third question, I might lose count at some point, so I'm sorry. How do you manage your time with personal projects, work projects, and your other clients' projects? Okay, so one thing about me is, outside of my office, I like to do these explorative projects because I like to learn a lot, and these things help me learn. And how do you balance work, with living your life in general, trying to live your best life, and then taking on some explorative projects? And then just imagine sometimes you get maybe like one random freelance work from someone, even if I don't really take those anymore, but just imagine, how do you balance all these things? For me, I would say your time management is the most important thing, because it helps you shape your life. And I'm going to explain this. You need to prioritize your projects. You need to also prioritize whatever tasks in each project. And sometimes you need to prioritize your day. Like, these things are important. I'm gonna just lift a quote from Abraham Lincoln that says, it says, "Give me 6 hours to chop off a tree." I'm not sure if I'm saying it like verbatim, but I'm just gonna try, right? It says, "Give me 6 hours to chop off a tree, and I will spend the first 4 hours sharpening my axe." And when you think about it, it's just, planning is important, because I've actually found something out. When you have a task, when you have a project, when you have anything you have to do, and you sort of plan out how these things are supposed to flow, when it's time for you to actually do the main execution, you move faster, because you already sort of like have an idea of what you want to do. You get, and it's just a lot, it's easier, you get me? So planning is important. Also, using your calendar is going to help you a lot. I mean, these things are not just there because somebody decided to wake up and just build stuff that doesn't matter. I mean, your to-do lists are very important. I mean, it's nice to use them very well. I need to check this off my list today, check this off my list today. And be very descriptive when you're trying to do them, right? Be very descriptive when you're doing them. For example, you can't just be all, okay, so maybe when I get into the office today, when I get into the office today, I'm going to look at my React project. Okay. Which one? Not even which one. When you look at the project, are you going to be staring at the code base? What do you want to do with it? Just so that you don't get there and you don't get lost in things. You know exactly what you're doing. You go in, you do it, and you get out. And you have time to do other things. Also, it's important to track time. So whatever things that you're doing on a daily basis, you track like against time. And also, if you're doing things that you know might slow you down, in terms of maybe if you're working with someone that's delaying feedback or something like that, if you get it to a point where you're waiting for the person, don't wait for the person and not be productive while you're at it. Do you understand? Move to something else. Also, I mean, if you find that you're spending so much time on something, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Just take a break. That might just be what you need to clear your head and then get back, and you see that you do well at it. Or ask a Stack Overflow question, or ask someone, if you're like in a group forum or something, you can reach out, ask people that might have the answer to what you're looking for, and don't just stay trying to fix the problem for 5 days, and you have like a backlog of things you're supposed to do and you're not able to do them, and you haven't solved this one problem. And yes, you're working hard, but you're not productive. There's the results that matter. It's not the fact that you stayed up for 18 hours or 23 hours out of 24 hours. Yes, it's good. If someone has empathy, they will understand, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, they're paying you so that you get things done. So I think it's just important to plan your day, use your calendars properly, your to-do lists. Get like a to-do list and make sure you follow it. Track yourself with time as well. List and make sure in your to-do list, make sure you list out the things that you're supposed to be doing in a day, so that you can track yourself against like how well you're doing, and you can track your progress and everything like that. If you use that, basically just manage your time properly. You'll be fine. Also, take breaks. It's very important, and make sure you try to add a little fun in things that you're doing, so that you're happy doing them and it just doesn't feel like work. Yes, so what resource would you recommend for a beginner in mobile app development? Yes, so go to Udacity if you want to do the cross-platform thing. I mean, they have a React Nano degree there, so you can do like for React and React Native. If you want to do full on Android, they have the new Kotlin Android course that they just launched there as well. Go for it. If you want to do iOS Swift, I think they have that as well. So feel free. And yeah. So the next one, good day. I'd like to know what you think of Android development with Kotlin in 2019. An advice for skills needed to enter the job market in Lagos State. Android development with Kotlin is the only Android development, in my opinion. I mean, Kotlin is a great programming language, and it's not just that you can do Android stuff with it. I mean, you can do Android stuff with it. You can do multi-platform stuff with it. You can do web stuff with it. It's a pretty amazing programming language, and I think it's growing rapidly. Compared to Java, you write less boilerplate code. So, and I mean, like, you should have made the switch by now from Java to Kotlin. But if you haven't, that's fine. In 2019, if you're building for Android, you should be building with Kotlin. And the next thing you said was advice for skills needed to enter the job market in Lagos. I mean, I'm not a recruiter, but I don't know. But I'm just gonna tell you general things that I feel like you should have. So I'm gonna do like technical and non-technical skills. Technical skills. I mean, in the tech industry and in software engineering as a discipline, we want software engineers. Yes, that's great. Be a software engineer. Try to be a software engineer. Also, like, or be a programmer. Learn different languages. Have like a stack that you work with, and apply for jobs that are looking for people with these skill sets. Or, I mean, you can be a QA guy. You can be a product manager. You can be a DevOps guy. I mean, there's so many other areas that are not as tapped into, or that are not as focused on as software engineering, or rather as programming in the software engineering discipline, like in the software engineering space. So it could be any of that. So these are like technical things. So it's either you go full on coding, and now if you're coding, you could be doing like a JavaScript. I mean, JavaScript is like hot cake at the moment. Yeah. So you could be doing like a JavaScript or a Python, or... So when I say JavaScript, I'm saying the entire thing. So it could be Node.js, it could be React, it could be Vue, it could be Angular, it could be everything. And I'm gonna say like JavaScript and TypeScript, I'm just gonna say that they're like the same for the purpose. Kotlin as well. People are looking for like a lot of Android developers now that use Kotlin. I have like a few jobs that are looking for, or rather, I know of a few jobs that are looking for Android developers that write Kotlin at the moment, and iOS developers as well, UI UX as well. So those are like technical things. Non-technical things, I would say, have a growth mindset. Be teachable. Effective communication is really important. Being real, I mean, like, be very real. I feel like when you even get the interview, to pass it in the first place. I don't know if the good ones. Some recruiters actually have superpowers. Some interviewers, they have superpowers, so they tend to know when you're being all fake about this situation. Be real, be yourself. I'm not saying because you want to be real now you put your leg on the table when you walk into the room, but just be who you are. Be true to you. Make sure you are someone that likes to learn a lot. You're teachable. You are confident. You have good communication skills. You're a people's person. And the job would find you. I mean, in this, and also make yourself add value. I mean, that's the most important thing. Be seen as someone that can add value, so that sometimes you would even be chased and not the other way around. So the next question, I don't know how to put it, Sha, but it's basically how to understand documentations, because I tend to learn more from tutorials than documentation. I don't know how to answer this question. How do you understand documentation? I don't know. I think you should understand the language first, whether from a tutorial or from a video or from a course, maybe like a book or something. Then you jump into the documentation if you want to use like a certain part, maybe a library or a particular part of the language that you've not sort of used before, so you want to read documentation because you need to understand how these things work. I think the well-written documentations are pretty straightforward when you know the language, right? So I think it's just important to have like a some people can't understand the programming language by reading the documentation of it. And if you are not, and if you are one of those people, that's absolutely fine. That's why there are other resources curated by people, by communities, just so that you can find what works for you. And you can ask the last question now. Hello, Adora. What's your thoughts on imposter syndrome, and how can a newbie be productive in the tech industry? I would answer the second one first. How can a newbie be productive in the tech industry? Join a community that has people that already do what you want to do, what you're trying to learn, what you're trying to come in as, so that if you run into issues, you can just simply reach out to a couple of people that can help you out. It will fast track your learning. And also, when you have a problem and you finally fix it, I think you should write about it, because when you do that, and it will shock you. Just imagine if in about few weeks you run into that same problem and you Google it and your article that comes up first. It happens to a lot of people. Like, they've said this thing over and over and over again, so it's something that happens. So I think you should join a community that is active so that you can fast track your learning. And then you should also tend to write about your new discoveries and write about your journey as you learn and things you. Imposter syndrome, it's a thing. I think what is just people just need to understand that it's a thing and then stop getting themselves really worked up. I mean, when you understand that it's a thing, then the next thing you would want to do is find a way to, to prevent it from having an impact or a negative impact on you. But not only in tech, imposter syndrome is something that happens everywhere. You understand? It's something that happens everywhere. It's a serious thing. One of the ways that you can actually be better regardless of imposter syndrome or no imposter syndrome is to adopt a growth mindset. I mean, it's okay to not know some things, right? So just know that you are a better version of yourself. So what you didn't know yesterday, you can learn today. What you don't know today, you will learn tomorrow. And then you just keep growing along the way. And because there will always be one engineer, one developer that is better than you, someone that knows this more than you or something. So don't beat yourself up all the time. Do you understand? Like, even the people that you think are experts, I'm sure, go through this as well. So it's just knowing how to contain it and then not making it overwhelm you and then sort of take over and then become the primary thing, and then it just messes like your whole job or your whole career and everything up. I think it's something that happens. So I feel it's also important to keep track of your accomplishments. So if you're probably tracking all the things that you've been doing well, you've been doing right, at least you know that, okay, there's growth here, I'm growing. Because now someone can't come and not, or rather, you can't start feeling like, okay, I'm not supposed to be here, I don't know anything, I'm not good at this job, I'm a fraud. Because you are seeing growth, you are tracking your accomplishments. So, I mean, I feel like it's important because even if you have imposter syndrome and you're working on a job, you might just be in your own head, right? So it's important to reach out to the person that matters, which is in most cases your line manager or your boss or whoever, and just try to find out, okay, how am I working? Whether it's time for them to do like a review or something, just reach out. You want to find out whether you're in your own head or whether it's actually true that you are underperforming. Find out, how am I working? How am I doing? What do I need to improve on? What do I need to get better at? They'll give you good feedback, and you can take that feedback and just try to make it better. Another thing that could be a problem is looking at, how on social media you see people driving Benz and you see people wearing like Alexander McQueen or carrying Birkin bags and all the designers and stuff. In tech, when you see like the media houses, for example, when they want to interview entrepreneurs or like do like all these startup things that they do, other people might just be like, see these ones, they are big, I'm not here yet now, I'm not saying this one. Don't feel like all these entrepreneurs that are being interviewed, you don't really know what they struggle when they go back and try to build their company and all these things. So focus on you, focus on your growth. even if imposter syndrome is there, don't let it stop you. Take it as, okay, I know it's there, I might not be good enough, but I'm going to work to make myself fit into this place. I'm going to make sure that I work hard so that at some point I know what I feel I should know to be able to do this job, if that makes sense. But don't just be like, oh, I'm not supposed to be here, I feel bad, I'm terrible for this job, I shouldn't be doing this, and then you just sort of kill yourself before anybody even kills you. Do you get? So yes, it's there, it's a real thing. Even your tech icons, people you look up to, your tech zaddies, I don't know why they say that thing, but they suffer it. Not suffer, it's not a sickness. They go through it too. Your tech zaddies, they go through it as well. But it's just being able to handle it intelligently so that it doesn't overwhelm you and become something that makes you maybe lose a job or have like a detour in your career or something. Thank you so much for staying to the end of this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Also hit that notification bell so that the next time AdoraHack posts a video, you will see it first. Bye!